Welcome back to another segment of Expat Hoops, where we follow some of the international prospects in the upcoming NBA draft. We're joined by a friend of the pod, Giordan Watson, who's here yet again to break down the next prospect. Check out his previous breakdown on Victor Wembanyama. We're here to discuss another French prospect, this time Rayan Rupert. He followed in the footsteps of Hugo Besson and Ousmane Dieng. Going to the NZ Breakers. He played in the Australia NBL League, which is a really pretty high quality league, pretty physical. So we're going to be joined here by Giordan to discuss what he sees and what his progression has been and where he sees him going in the NBA draft. But before we kind of get into that bigger conversation, Giordan, we've been talking about him for a little while now. I think it might have been back in the fall. We're recording this in March of 2023. Just take us through what you've seen in his development from the period of in the fall to this period in March of 2023 that you see that you really like.
The biggest thing that stood out was the freedom that the team is giving him, that he's playing with. He's not playing 30 minutes a game, but when he is in there, I've seen clips and plays where he's pushing it in transition. He's getting downhill, so he has the ball, and he's making plays, with that frame. I think I read somewhere he's got a 7'3" wingspan, really, really long arms, and he's kind of like a combo guard slashing around. It's like they've given him some freedom to come in and play, or he's just taking the opportunity, which would be even better, just taking the chance. Like, I'm out here, I'm going to play, I'm going to be who I am, I'm going to make my mistakes and grow that way. But whatever the case is, he's having the ball and he's making plays off the ball and with the ball. It's really cool to see him like get a stop, get a steal, and he's pushing it in transition, and he'll make a play for himself or somebody else.
And that's been something that he's, as you kind of mentioned, he's got the 7'3" wingspan, listed somewhere from 6'6" to 6'7". So it'll be interesting to see where he measures with or without shoes at the combine. But he's been known as a defensive-oriented guard or wing prospect. He's played for France on the unders, basically. I think he's a 2019 silver medalist at the U16s. So he's got international experience even before he decided to go to another league. But he'd been in France previously on some of the lower, whether it's the youth teams or the, kind of reserve teams. You've got a little bit of backstory on that. Take us through exactly what you know about him as a even younger prospect.
Yeah, when I was playing in France, I played there 1 year with a team named Le Mans. And he was on our junior team at the time. He I think he had an injury that year, so he didn't play much. He was rehabbing, but yeah, he was there, and I didn't remember him so much. But I talked to our former GM, and he was just telling me, like, man, he comes from a really, really good family. His sister's was in the WNBA. She's playing the EuroLeague. I think it's in Italy right now. His mom's very involved in his life. Is very, very, very hard worker. Like, they had to kick him out of the gym sometimes, because he just wanted to work and get better. So I think all the things that you would want to hear in a prospect, in a player, that like it's checking out for him. Like the potential, you see it when you watch him play, and his ability and his profile, but then the intangible things that you might not know about of working hard and coming from a good family and being disciplined. These are things that are very important if you want to look at a draft pick.
So we mentioned it a little bit off the top, too, that he's been somebody that when we were first discussing him, he was kind of projected to be a late first-round pick. He's moving up. I mean, there's different NBA draft mocks that we're looking at right now, and pretty much the consensus kind of has him between 16 and 20. There's one that I saw that was as high up as 10. So he's definitely somebody that's, even if you're going in the 16 to 20 range, he's moving up considerably in the draft into the late lottery, might even maybe the mid lottery. Like I said, kind of a defensive oriented prospect, but in terms of what do you see about him that's really kind of coming along, and where do you see the areas where he maybe could improve and that you could see the improvement?
So, like we said, I think it's clear to see he is a defensive stopper, like a ball hound. You can put him on your lead guard, and he's gonna make it a long night for them. And then, like, man, I think this year he's taken off with just the ball handling and the playmaking. When I was watching him before, I didn't know what if he had that ability. And then this year, I'm starting to watch some clips. I'm like, man, he's pushing the ball in transition. He's playing ball screen. He's making plays for other people. I'm like, oh, I can see why his stock has risen so much. The one knock I would say is like his shooting, but even then, he's so young. And if you look at his form, his technique, his mechanics, like they look good. So, and I think that's something that you can always build on. Like it just, okay, the foundation is there with the mechanics and technique. Now it's just about repetition, like keep getting shots up as much as you can. And I think that'll even out. So for me, I think that's one thing I look at is the shot, but I feel like that'll get fixed in no time because the mechanics are there. And if he's a hard worker, it's just a matter of time because he's still young. It's just, you need your repetitions. Like you can only have so many repetitions at the age of 18, 19, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think really like it's laid out for him. I think somebody will grab him in that first round. It's just a matter if it's lottery or later in the first round. But when you got somebody who can press the ball like that, get out and transition with long arms, and he's coming out in a good time where you got guys like Shai Gilgeous coming out making a lot of plays in the NBA, and these long guards with long arms in that 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" frame. It's like it's the perfect time for him to come out in the NBA.
Yeah, that's one of the things that when I'm looking at him, there's a reason why we bring in your expertise, but at the same time, what you just said kind of stood out to me as well, that the shooting form, it looks like it's there. I mean, I've looked at some of the statistics and that his 3-point shooting hasn't been, up to the percentage that you'd like to see. But again, he's 18, he's going to be 19 in May. Like you said, really hard worker, and the form looks like it's there. So I feel like, for what it's worth, that my assessment kind of jives with yours. But looking into where you see some of the best fits, we kind of alluded to that, the 16 to 20 range, and, the season's not done yet. So the order's not going to be solidified quite yet. But some of the places that have seen, based off of where they're kind of projected to be, Warriors, Knicks, Hawks. The one that was high up was going to be New Orleans. I think it's pretty easy to see why the Knicks are on there with Tom Thibodeau in the mix, being a defensive-oriented coach. But of those teams, or even some of the ones that I didn't mention, where do you like to see him as a young player go?
Wow, that's a good question. I mean, I always think young players should just go somewhere where they can play, right? That's just where you can develop. I'm trying to think. The Hawks could be cool. I mean, they got Trey and they got DeJounte, but I can see why the Knicks would be good. Like you said, with Tibbs, he's a hard-nosed defensive coach. Man, but like a kid like him, you can put him in anywhere just because the things that he's doing are so valuable to a team. Because in the way the NBA is now, the lead guards are doing so much, you just want somebody to come in and make their life as hard as possible, offensively and defensively. So he can play some defense and then get in and push out in transition. If somebody has to guard that also, that's just another way to make a guy tired, make him work somehow. So, yeah, I definitely could see why the Knicks would be a good fit for him. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, but like you said, a lot of these teams, whether they're the ones specifically mentioned or not, there's a reason why he's rising up the draft boards, is if he's not only a versatile player that can do a lot of the things that they value, there's a reason why he's going to be in pretty high demand. And so even by the time somebody might watch this a couple months later, could be that he's risen even further and somebody really, really likes him and could fit in really well with them.
Yeah, I mean, I keep harping on it, but like I said, I think the shot will come as time comes, but the things that he's doing right now are just like it's perfect for what the NBA is right now.
Hello, and thanks for watching. Be sure to give the video a like, and you can watch more videos over here. You can also click subscribe over here so you're notified when we have new content here on Expat Hoops.